What's up guys, I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're Drivin Vibin.
Today is Thursday, so that means it is time for another one of our Q&A sessions, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to our channel everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if it's your first time here, we would love for you to subscribe and join the Vibe Tribe.
So every Thursday, we answer your questions from the previous week, and we get those questions from the comments section. So if you have a question for next week, just leave that in the comment section below.
And before we get started on our questions this week, we wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been sending us postcards. That is so awesome. We are super thankful. So thank you to Francine and J.R. Klein, and also to KE5ZGZ.
Yes, if you want to send us a letter of encouragement while we're working on this Airstream, you can send it to Drivin Vibin, P.O. Box 649, Fairhope, Alabama 36533. We'll also put that in the comment section below so you don't have to memorize it. But I guess we can go ahead and hop into these questions.
Yeah, but it looks like we have a lot for this week. So first up we have Mark Ford, and he said, will you be selling your old travel trailer? I really like it and would be interested in purchasing it.
So yeah, we will be selling our AIRSTREAM. It will be a while before that happens though, because we will not sell it until we get moved into our AirStream Argosy.
Yes, so it could be 6 months to a year before we even get ready to sell it. So we are not really taking any names or numbers at this time, but we will announce it to everyone when it will be available for sale.
So Let's RV has a question about our Argosy, and they say, are you going to go with a factory paint job or something new? And can your truck pull it?
So we want to still keep the vintage theme going, but have a little updated kind of look. We might paint it kind of like the AIRSTREAM white with a blue stripe, which would be very similar to the original paint job. Or we may do a half and half, so like a white top and a blue bottom or something like that. We're still thinking about different ideas.
And currently the truck can tow it because it is gutted, but once we take it back out on the road for adventuring, we'll definitely get a bigger truck. Dusty Cat said, have you ever done a tour video of your current trailer? I can't find one.
So our very first video ever on YouTube was a tour of the AirStream. We will link that in the description or put that in the eye in the sky, and you can check that out there. It's actually kind of funny too, just to see how nervous and scared we were in that first one. But yeah, we'll link that one. Next up we have Up Freaks, and they said, do you guys have a time frame and budget in mind for the project? So we really have no great gauge for either of these things, but kind of what we're thinking is 6 months to a year to complete the project, and about $11,000 or $12,000.
Caddy Lynn says, I just want to know your jobs and how you got to live such a free life. And so our jobs before hitting the road were both service industry related, and but once we hit the road, we financed it through our Etsy shop, and then we grew our blog and our YouTube presence to where that was earning us enough money for an income as well.
Yes, so right now we are currently mainly making money from YouTube. Kyle is going to be picking up gigs here while we're in Alabama, and like he said, we have a blog and we have some affiliate programs through Amazon. We sell t-shirts, we sell albums. So many different ways. We are always looking for a new way to express our creativity. Next up we have Firefly Mary, and they said, I've been digging around through your blogs and channel and don't see if you might have already addressed this question. So I will be boondocking in a serious manner soon. I'm not as worried about cooler weather as I am hot weather. Where are the coolest and best summer spots to boondock? At the same time, stay cool without any AC.
I would recommend northern New Mexico, Colorado. If you're feeling extra adventurous, you can go up to North Dakota or you know, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. What about you?
Yeah, I think Montana is one of my favorites. Any high elevation areas are going to be much cooler. So we hit the road and it was still summertime and we were hot making our way out west from Alabama, and once we got into northern New Mexico, we really started cooling down a little bit. We enjoyed the Enchanted Circle area a lot, and I think Santa Fe was actually one of the first spots. We were at a campground like on top of a mountain, and we started cooling off there. But like Kyle said, Colorado is great too.
Rebecca Ford says, when you film being in a public place, like say a restaurant, grocery store, etc., do you have to ask a manager if it's okay to do so? Do you feel awkward when filming when other people are there? So if we are at a big box store or a chain restaurant, we don't really feel the need to address a manager in the case of blogging. But if we are in like an artist studio or a mom and pop shop, you know, we do feel it's respectful in that situation to ask.
Definitely when there is art involved and local artists, many times they even have it posted clearly on the front, no filming or photos while inside, because they want to protect their own original ideas and not be ripped off by someone else. So that's definitely times when we are aware of that. We do feel awkward filming when we're out in public and around town, but it's just, with practice it helps. Our camera's pretty small and discreet, and we take short clips here and there, so it's not an ongoing long talking piece normally. And out in public, I think it's kind of free game. If you're out in public and can be seen by anyone, then I think that's within the guidelines of YouTube and filming and things like that.
Dave Roy said, if you were offered a contract to do a 30-minute weekly TV program, would you consider it? And I would just have to say, that just depends how much time it would take and how much money would be involved, because honestly, we really enjoy building our Drivin Vibin presence. We
like working for ourselves and building our own brand and all the different directions that we can go with our different Drivin and Vibin things, or music, or whatever that is ours and that we create ourselves, and we have control over it. We work on our own hours and are our own bosses, and that's very important to us, and the freedom. So if we had a lot of control over it, it wasn't taking too much energy and time out of our lives, maybe, but right now I think we do love just building what we have going on right now.
FR3 at last says, what do you suggest starting out with solar? How many panels?
So this is a very difficult question to answer. It depends on what your needs are. Are you going to just be running some lights at night? Are you going to be running your large appliances? And we are not experts in solar at all. I would definitely do some research online, get some estimates and quotes around, because most people put as many panels up there as they can fit up there and get pretty large battery banks, because you want to be able to store as much energy as possible if you're going to be doing a lot of boondocking.
Frank Manid says, what are the most frustrating things on a regular basis that you encounter? And asking Olivia to post some recipes as well. I don't know what the most frustrating things are, honestly. They don't happen that often.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just typical life stuff that happens to anyone, just any frustrating little things like stuff, you know, breaking or running into, you know, obstacles and issues here and there, but that just comes with life. I can't think of anything specific to RV life. Maybe like when you go to a chain grocery store and they don't have the same things as the last one you were at, so to speak. So just little things like that, but I can't think of anything that is really that frustrating. Or
right now I could say the wind blowing, the dog barking when we're videoing, anything that interrupts our video process, because we don't have a bunch of awesome equipment, so we have to take advantage of natural light and stuff like that. So
I've got another one too. Now that I think about it, we did not get the cover for our fantastic vent that allows it to stay open when it's raining. So it's been raining a lot here and it's very hot and humid, and we haven't been able to run our fan at night, so it has been super hot, and it automatically turns off with the rain, which is a great thing to have, a great feature to have, but I think we should definitely invest in one of those covers so it can stay on. Next up we have Stephen Andrews, and they said, thanks for the videos. On the new rig, will you put in tanks for water, and would you be posting pictures of the different stages of the build?
So yeah, we have a water tank right now. I believe it's 20-something gallons. We'll have to do some more research, but it's in good condition. We'll probably use that one, and we'll definitely post pictures of the rebuild.
As much of the process as possible, we try to do it pretty real time. Next up we have John Voss, and they said, have you guys thought about opening an Amazon FBA seller account? You could send your inventory to them with a link from your vids directly to your store.
We haven't done much research on this, and I don't know if our product is good for this, because it was my understanding that you need like a barcode for it to work with Amazon. So I don't know if these vintage maps would work, but something to look for down the road. I
think the main reason we didn't reach out and try different platforms other than Etsy is because it's got a very specific clientele there, and they're there for a very specific thing. So we can get a very good price for our items that we've curated and collected over time, and people appreciate that legwork that we've put in, versus trying to get the best cheapest deal possible.
Andrew Orton says, how long are you planning on staying in your hometown and working on the new trailer?
So like we mentioned earlier, we don't really have any idea yet. Once we get started, we'll be able to judge a little bit better, but right now we're thinking 6 months to a year.
And David says, do you tend to stay on interstates or do you prefer county roads? And if we're trying to make good time and get somewhere in an expedited fashion, we definitely use interstates. But if we're hopping from boondocking spot to boondocking spot, we'll go and do the county roads.
Next up we have Vicky Nethery. We love watching your videos and really enjoy your music CD. My question when traveling, how far ahead do you plan for your next stop? And do you call ahead and make reservations?
So we don't usually ever have reservations. Sometimes if we are working with RV parking, we're gonna stay at one. It'll be like a week in advance, but we keep a pretty loose schedule. Yeah,
maybe if it's going to be like a holiday weekend or something like that, we'll call anytime we are just concerned and say, hey, do you have any spots available? Are you going to be busy on these days? And they'll usually tell you whether or not you need to make a reservation or if you can just show up. Next up we have Freedom Portraits by Kelly, and they said, do you know or have heard of anyone who has used US Cellular for their service? We keep hearing AT&T and Verizon and worried we may have to switch phone plans before hitting the road.
Yeah, if US Cellular is your provider and they use their own towers, I would say that will be a problem when you hit the road, because that's not a thing that we've been used to seeing across the nation.
Yeah, AT&T and Verizon are the most popular by far, and many people try to have multiple carriers on board. So we have AT&T phones, and we also have a T-Mobile hotspot as well. And it would be nice if one of us got a Verizon phone eventually. That way we just have all of our bases covered no matter where we are.
Brian says, first time commenting. Just wondering if you will be using the same truck to pull your new camper.
So we will be upgrading our truck a little further down the road. Once we sell the FiberStream, probably we'll use that money to get a larger truck. But right now the trailer is very light, dry weight, and even when it had all of the stuff inside, it was still within the tow range. But by the time we get done with it and add all the stuff we want in there, it'll be pushing the limit and we will get a much bigger truck to tow it once we hit the road again.
James Yates says, do you ever find yourself wondering what to do? Do you recall ever finding yourself with time in your hands, and what did you do in these situations? And this is in reference to if we're like out boondocking or camping.
So really we didn't have that much time on our hands. For one, we were moving pretty quickly. We still move at a pretty quick pace. By the time we get bored anywhere, it's probably about time to move on. But between just regular life stuff, when you are buying groceries and doing laundry and the typical household chores, and then we would go explore the area, walk around the city, go on any hikes in the area, eat at the local places, you find plenty of ways to fill your time. Yeah,
it is so rare that we feel bored, and if we do, we make it a point to get out and do something.
Yeah, and usually we don't get through all of the things that we want to see and do in an area before it's time for us to move on.
Justin says, I like the new hat, Kyle. Who makes that model? And all of my new hats are made by Mountain Standard. Came across them a few months ago and really liked it.
Next up we have Marcella Folkman, and they said, did you like RTR and Arizona?
We did not go to RTR this year. We went the year before. For us, it was a little too big, a little too much going on. We like the concept of RTR, and they definitely have so much knowledge and information there to share.
It's a great group of people, and it's a lot of fun. We are just very introverted folks, and we'd like to be able to spread out and kind of have our own space. And everyone was kind of packed in there last year, and especially this year with how big it got. We did plan to make it over there and say hello to some folks, but we were so swamped with just different YouTube videos we were creating with the escapers. We were doing presentations there, attending a lot of presentations, and we just ran out of time.
And we always love Arizona. There are so many different parts of Arizona that we really enjoy.
Next up we have Gene Snyder, and they said, when you do the Airstream, are you going to try to restore it to original or just use the shell and make it your own?
We'll definitely make it our own. It's more of a, what are the differences? It's a renovation and a restoration. So we are renovating it, you would say, and not restoring it.
Yeah, we will definitely be making it much more modern and sleek and still keeping some of the cute vintage characteristics, but for the most part it will be to our customized liking. Next up we have Bryan Lee Stevens, and they said, what are your top 5 pros and cons for having a dog with you in the RV? He's going back and forth about it and doesn't know whether he should make the leap and get a pup to bring with him or keep it simple.
So I don't think we'll list out 5 pros and cons on the spot because that'd be a little challenging, but we love her for the companionship. She offers protection when she's with us, but honestly the companionship is my favorite part about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the pros are endless. She makes our life so full of joy and love, and we have a ton of fun. We always have a hiking buddy and our own personal heater at night when it's cold, and a guard dog in the window who alerts us whenever anyone's coming. And the cons in the beginning were she did have some separation anxiety, so it was hard to leave her alone. That's obviously specific to our dog. And just wanting to explore national parks and places where dogs aren't really allowed. You have to find a game plan for that. Either have hookups and be able to leave your dog in the RV with the AC, or board them, or maybe find a pet sitter nearby that can walk the dog while you're gone.
So last up we have Tammy, and she says, Olivia, can you do a video specifically about your meals and how you do one-pot dinners?
Yeah, so it seems like we're getting a lot of requests about this, so we will make a dedicated video about some one-pot meals and different like cooking styles and meals that we like to have.
So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments below. We are just beginning an Airstream renovation project, so you can see the video right here about what we're working with. But remember to subscribe if you want to follow us in that journey too.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Later on.